Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 23 of What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the Beginning. Remember to hit this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for What If Naruto was disowned by everyone. And I do hope that you guys enjoy. And also over on Anime King, I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was given a second chance. And also What If Naruto was a godly mage. So stay tuned for those, and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Killer Bee delivered a note to Yujito, as she read it, as she smiled, it was from Naruto. As there was a reverse summoning toad, so she could send messages back to him. As she went on writing a mist of her own. Back at Konoha, Jiraiya was finally back, as he wanted to take Naruto on a 3-year training trip, but Naruto said no. He didn't want to leave his friend and stun his entire shinobi career. But Tsunade told him that he would be given missions and to get more experience, and once he returned back, she will promote him to Jonin if he's ready. As he sighed, he knew he had to get stronger, and Jiraiya pushed over the edge, telling him about the Akatsuki they're after him and he needs to get stronger. So he decided to go. Yes, he went off with Jiraiya. Some time passed as Naruto was out with Jiraiya. He has been working on something from he was at the village, but he hasn't get the hand of it yet. A newly improved form of its Senshin, to be used combat-wise. Back at Konoha, as Sakura asked Kakashi where Naruto was. As Kakashi told her that Naruto went on a training trip with Jiraiya, Sasuke was furious every time the dopes keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and he's just staying here, not improving or anything. Meanwhile, Orochimaru sent Kabuto along with Kimimaro and Gurren to retrieve Sasuke. As Kabuto came to Sasuke and told him about the offer and the power that he can get. Sakura has been noticed that Sasuke has been acting strangely, so she waited that night. She waited every single night to see if one day that he would do something that she thought that would just break her. And in fact, yes, he did. He was leaving the village as she caught up with him, but she couldn't stop him because he knocked her out and headed off. Meanwhile, Naruto was training at the Hidden Sand when they got the report, as the Konoha team went off to catch Sasuke, but they got interfered by the others, Kimimaro and Gurren. As Naruto was royally pissed that Sasuke would do something like this, he was about to beat the shit out of Sasuke when he finds him. As the group headed off, as Lee and Neji was facing off against Kimimaro, as Naruto sent Gaara over there, as he went over to help Shikamaru and Kiba and Akamaru. As Naruto took on Gurren, having to dodge her crystal style, he unsheathed his katana because he has to hurry to get and catch Sasuke before he's too late. So yeah guys, so basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? Gurren just let off a massive attack, one of her most powerful jutsu. The fight has been dragging on for some time now, both of them clashing. She decided to end it. She cursed as she looked at the clearing in front of her that was destroyed with thousands of crystal shards. Orochimaru-sama wanted his body for a study. I forgot, she said. Didn't I tell you? I wouldn't let that pedophile touch me. Gurren's eyes went wide. She spun around to see Naruto behind her, his arm all messed up and bleeding rather badly. But still, he was standing in front of her. How did you survive, she said. That was one of my most powerful jutsus. As Naruto clasped his hands together, I myself was wondering how I would get out of that predicament. Then I remember, once you hold faithful to the good log, it will always provide. Gurren blinked several times. Was this kid on drugs or something? But then it snapped. You use substitution, right? She said. Isn't that what I just said? Said Naruto. How else could he have escaped the evil crystal wave of doom? The Hiraishin? No, said Gurren, you made some kind of shitty speech about logs. Exactly, said Naruto. I'm tired of dealing with your crap, said Gurren. You've been annoying ever since this battle started. Crystal release. Crystal lance. The crystal came around Gurren's arm, creating a giant lance. As she rushed forward, intending on killing Naruto right there and then. Something tells me a normal katana won't be enough for this. As he pulled out a scroll. As Gurren pulled her lance arm back, as Naruto put some of his blood on the scroll before there was a poof. She thrust the lance forward, but there was a loud clang. When the smoke cleared, she saw a rather large sword blocking her lance. I would like you to meet Kyuubi Karaisho, said Naruto, as he pulled the sword back and swinged it. Gurren dodged the blade, thinking that he will need a lot of time to bring that large sword back around. She thrust forward to end his life. But to her great surprise, he simply swung it back around, faster than she expected, forcing her to stop. Looks like I finally find something I'm better than you at, said Naruto. Don't get cocky, she shouted. As she thrust forward again, but Naruto shattered the crystal lance on her arm, with great force knocking her away as she grunted. Come on, Naruto said, as he sent several powerful wind blades towards her. Gurren started to dodge as she jumped all around. She saw the landscape that the wind blade tear into. If one of those touched her, she would be done for. As she jumped away and went through more hand signs, crystal release, crystal senbons, as she sent several dozen senbon needles towards Naruto. Naruto resealed his giant blade as he channeled chakra into the seal on his left arm, as he unsealed his bow staff, as he started twirling around the center of the senbons, destroying all of them. When the senbon stopped coming, Naruto sealed away back his staff, and look, but Gurren was gone. As Gurren dropped from the sky, but he quickly jumped away. As Naruto looked at her, did you really think that was going to get me? Gurren simply smirked. The next thing Naruto knew, his arms were locked in place by a crystal clone behind him. He was about to quickly substitute, but Gurren was already in front of him. As Naruto twisted his body just in time, with a quick motion to make her stab him, instead of his heart up in his shoulder. As he then sent Yokai down to his two fingers and sent out a whip as it grabbed her leg and threw her to the side. As Naruto then smashed his elbow into the side of the clone's face behind him, shattering it. As he dropped down, blood coming from the wound where Gurren had stabbed him. I guess my tactic wasn't so bad if he got you, huh? Said Gurren with a smirk. Or maybe you just suck. Yeah, maybe, Naruto said. That will teach me not to open my mouth the next time I'm in combat. Kyuubi, can you give me a damage assessment, Naruto asked. It is not too extensive, said the Kyuubi. But from the earlier attack that you took on, she had managed to pierce your lung. If you were still human, you would have been dead. How long until it heals, Naruto asked. On its own, about 4 hours. But I doubt that Gurren woman that you're fighting is going to give you the opportunity to do that. But that won't be a problem if you use my power, she said. You won't be able to use so much because you're that injured. But you can use it to heal rather quickly. Alright then, Naruto said. Think you can give me some juice? Of course, she said. As Naruto smiled as he felt the yokais traveling through his body, as he felt his wounds mending themselves. As Gurren felt the increase in power, she quickly was about to finish him off. Crystal release. The God's Crossing technique, she said. A long stream of crystals stabbed right into Naruto. But there was a poof, as there was a log there now. Gurren had to jump away as a wind blade teared through the ground. As this went on for some time, Naruto tried to get her in a corner. The both of them had to stop when the ground started to shake as they looked over. As Gurren was surprised to see bones bursting from the ground. Whoever Kimimaro is fighting over there, they must be good. But his fight is over right now because that person is dead. To push him to this extent though, said Gurren. That's what you think, said Naruto, as he knew there is no way that Gaara, with the assistance of Lee and Neji, could lose that guy. We'll see, said Gurren. In any event, it's time that I get rid of you. You've been a thorn in Orochimaru-sama's sides for too long now, as she went through hand sign. Meanwhile, as Gaara was surprised, as he looked at the now dead Kimimaro Kaguya, who had just been milliseconds away from killing him, as he came out of one of these bones and tried to pierce him. But now, the man is slumped over dead. "Are the two of you alright?" Gaara asks, looking at the two other genin that he was floating in the air. "I am alright, my most youthful comrade," said Lee. "I am fine," said Neji. "Then we should head to Konoha. What about our other, most youthful comrades?" "We cannot just leave them," said Lee. "Naruto is with them. They should be fine," Gaara said. Back over the fight as Gurren was huffing and puffing, several cuts all over her body, as his wind attack did a number on her. But Naruto was exhausted as well. "Looks like neither of us have the energy to do much," he said. "But you will be fine in a couple of minutes." But she was only human. It would take her longer. "It seems you're right," said Gurren, as she couldn't believe it. How could this boy be able to tire her out? She was at least on a Jonin level or higher, and this little brat was able to hold his own for so long. "But that doesn't mean I don't have enough energy to kill you," said Gurren. "Well then, how about the both of us then?" As Naruto turned his head, "Kakashi," he said. "Yo," said Kakashi. "You look like you just got the shit kicked out of you by a woman." "No shit," Naruto said. "Really? Thanks for telling me that. I had no clue I looked that way." Kakashi just chuckled. Gurren cursed in her mind. She didn't even have enough chakra to deal with the blonde. How could she handle the both of them? She looked over at Naruto. "You got lucky, kid," she said, as she started to sink into the ground, before the crystal leading to the Valley of the End shattered. As Naruto spread out his senses, trying to find her. "I don't sense her anymore, Kyuubi." "Can you?" "No, she's gone." As Naruto slumped down, "Tired?" said Kakashi with a eye smile. "Shut up," said Naruto. "No need for that, Naruto," said Kakashi. Naruto said Temari as she walked up to Naruto. "Now that the battle is over, we should probably get Dog Boy and the others back to Konoha." "Right," Naruto says. He tried to stand up, but he failed, as he fell back down, as Temari giggled. "It's not funny." "Of course it is," she said. Time skip. While Gaara managed to defeat Kimimaro, however, the crystal user, Gurren, got away. As Naruto finished giving his report to Tsunade, seeing that he was the only one not in the hospital, well, besides the Sand team, as Shizune was in there as well, along with Tauntaun. "I see. So we have no clue about the Uchiha status. We know that he managed to reach Hidden Stone, but nothing else." This entire situation was turned into one pile of crap as she's concerned. Not only do they have no information on whether or not Orochimaru was able to possess Sasuke's body, Jiraiya was out of contact as he was extracting one of his contacts in Hidden Stone, who has gotten himself into some trouble. So they wouldn't be able to get any information from the situation from him. "Do you think Orochimaru managed to use his body position jutsu on Sasuke?" Naruto asked. Not liking this situation at all, he just didn't know what to make of it. Sasuke was never really a friend, but he was his teammate, and he trusted Sasuke enough to watch his back. As he just didn't understand why someone like Sasuke would willingly go to Orochimaru and know what Orochimaru had in store for him. "No, yes I can," Naruto thought. He always preferred taking the quicker path to power. If he thought going to Orochimaru would make him stronger, then he would do it in a heartbeat. "And people call me an idiot." "You are an idiot," said the Kyuubi in an amused tone, as Naruto's eyebrows started to twitch. "How am I an idiot?" Naruto said. "I am way more intelligent now than I used to be. I literally had intelligence pounded into my skull by Uncle. I got the bruises to prove it, seriously. Having a woman that will quiz you on the stuff that you read, and beating the crap out of you if you got it wrong. Yeah, how am I stupid?" Naruto said. "You may have more knowledge than before, that doesn't make you really smart. Knowledge gained but not used do not make you intelligent. It does prove how more stupid you are." "Whatever," Naruto said, not in the mood to listen to her poking fun at him. As he turns attention back to Tsunade, she has been talking for quite some time. Sorry, what did you say?" he asked. Tsunade scolded at Naruto for not paying attention. "I said it's possible that he has. Unfortunately, Jiraiya is out of contact, and he's the only person that might be able to give us that answer. And even then, it's not likely. As far as I know, Jiraiya doesn't have any spies in Hidden Sound." "Wait, you're telling me that Urasengin has gone off the map?" As Naruto thought that he was off, perving on a woman or something. "That stupid bastard is supposed to train me. How could he just up and leave?" Sure, Naruto knew that he would be gone while he was in the sand, but he expected the man to be back in a few days. He didn't really need his help to get down the last part of his wind chakra, but that didn't give the man the right to just go off like that. "What exactly can you tell me about the crystal user that you fought?" asked Tsunade, as Naruto told her about Gurren. Well, all that she did in the battle, and with her special technique. As Shizune handed Tsunade a file, while Naruto was talking, as Tsunade opened it, "Is this her?" "Yeah," Naruto said, as it was Gurren, but there was less information on her. But you don't have enough information on her, said Naruto. Well, we don't have enough information on the Orochimaru goons. But this one was sighted in an incident in the sand, and apparently she was responsible for several destructions of smaller villages. As Jiraiya learned that she was apparently Orochimaru's most elite fighter. So you're telling me I went up against the second most strongest person Orochimaru has to offer, besides himself? That is exactly what I'm telling you, said Tsunade. I guess that means I need to train harder, said Naruto. And speaking of training, when the hell is Ersen gonna come back? I mean, I was supposed to be on a 3-year training trip, but it's only been a few months since I left. Unfortunately, we have no clue when Jiraiya will be returning from wherever he is, as she didn't want to tell Naruto about this now, as it really felt strange to lie to him as well. Which is why I figured I should give you a mission that will take quite a bit to accomplish, she said. A while. What kind of mission are we talking about, Naruto asked. A solo mission, said Tsunade. As Tsunade went for the mission scroll, as she set it out right in front of Naruto. As Naruto snatched it up, a request from Torinofune. That's pretty far from Konoha, he said. That was our first reaction as well, said Shizune. An operation in the form of a cursed warrior is terrorizing the people and raising wicked rumors. As Naruto thought about what this statement meant. Wait, is there a ghost haunting them? Naruto asked. Shuddering a bit, Tsunade smirked as she leaned forward. They believe it's a ghost of a long dead warrior who has come back to haunt them. Why? Not afraid are you? She asked. Naruto scoffed. As if I would be afraid of some ghost, he said. As he tried not to let the cold chill get to him as he rolled his eyes. When did they get so drafty in here, he said. It's probably some idiot in a costume trying to scare the people. So what does this cursed warrior look like, Naruto asked. The only description we have to go on is that he's always seen wearing white samurai armor, said Tsunade. Anyways, seeing that how far out this mission is, and the fact that few of our Jonis and Chunin are out, and the Genins we could have sent are all taken out of commission, you're the only person we have for this mission. Right, I should have figured it was something like that, Naruto said aside. As he thought he was the best person for this job, but she did it because she didn't have enough people. I guess I don't have much choice but to take it. He couldn't even train here because a few techniques that he was working on were too dangerous to use in the village. And he didn't want people to see it until they were finished. Maybe not even then, after all he needs some trump cards to use against Akatsuki. You know I'm ordering you to go, right? You can't refuse, said Tsunade. As her eyebrow was twitching as if he could just refuse a mission that she gave him. Anyway, you're to meet Kishimo, the man who paid for this mission at the North Gate in 1 hour. Yosh, said Naruto, as he hopped through the window. Damn brat, she shouted, as she went over the window and watched him hopping. Don't pick up Jiraiya's bad habits. She was certain that she heard him laughing. Or maybe it was just the wind. Stupid brat, always acting like an idiot. Stupid Jiraiya, for letting Naruto pick up his bad habits. When I see that damn pervert again, I'm gonna make sure you understand what happened if he curbs Naruto even more. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was currently sitting on the bar. Out of nowhere, his entire body just shivered, as he felt like death had just touched him for some reason. As he shook it off. Time skip. Naruto's journey started the moment he reached North Gate. Kishimo, a earnest looking man in his mid-20s with brown hair and dark eyes covered by a pair of glasses, were already waiting for him. After signing out, the two left Konoha and began their very long walk. And Naruto was bored as hell. Walking at a civilian pace to a place will take a month to get there if he walked so slow. It was starting to tick him off a bit. In an effort to keep his mind from wandering, he observed the man. The man was wearing a straw hat and a poncho that was made out of hay. His shirt was a standard blue GI that had a pair of green sleeves sewn on. Wrapped around his waist was several white bandages. Looked like someone had taken a knife and cut over the left side. He had very dry looking grey pants with a set of leg warmers at the bottom. On his feet was a pair of old and worn sandals. And the man also looked like he was about to die on his feet. You know, you don't look so good, said Naruto. As Kishimo turned his head, are you feeling alright, Naruto asked. Kishimo chuckled. Of course I'm alright, he said. Don't worry about me one bit. A gurgle sound filled the ear, stopping him from talking. As Naruto looked down at the man's stomach. I guess I'm a tad bit hungry, said Kishimo. Alright, said Naruto. If the sound of this guy's stomach was to go by, a tad bit hungry was an understatement. You sound like you haven't eaten in days, Naruto asked. Well, I had to pay for this mission with money out of my own pocket, said Kishimo. So I'm pretty much broke, he said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. This guy paid for a mission out of his own pocket? That meant either one of two things. This guy was seriously dedicated to his own country, or the country was broke as well. It would also be a bit of both. So this mission must be pretty important to you, huh? It could be the difference between life and death. For a very dear friend of mine, he said, looking down at his feet. Do you want to talk about it? Naruto asked. It's my friend, Sajai, you see. We've been close friends ever since we were little. We were raised like brothers, and he's now the daimyo of my village. Naruto raised the eyebrow. This guy was the best friend and daimyo of his country? No wonder he would pay for the mission by himself. But why were he wearing such old and weathered clothing? Well, the village must be in a poor state. With something like a ghost haunting them, he shouldn't be too surprised. However, recently things have been very hard for my friend, Kishimoto said. With the death of his father, Lord Owashi, and his twin sister died shortly after. Another friend I used to know, always smiling, always cheerful, has become a completely different person. He no longer shows his face in the village, even when I visit him. This change in him worried the others, because Sajai is a daimyo for our country. I don't really care about all of that though. I worry because he's my friend. I will do anything to help him to bring the old Sajai back again, no matter the cost. No, Naruto was impressed from the way this guy spoke. He would gladly give his life for this Sajai character. He must be really close friends with him. As Naruto smiled, I'm sure things will work out in the end, he said. As he turned his head and looked up in the sky, missing the shocked look on Kishimoto's face. I was once told when people share a strong bond of emotions, kindness and their feelings would reach each other. I'm sure your friend will eventually come to realize how worried you are and get out of this funk that he's in. Who knows, maybe if I solve this ghost case, things with your friend will get better right away. Thank you, said Kishimoto with a smile. Naruto was about to say something when he heard another gurgle. Why don't we stop for a break and get something to eat, said Naruto. As Kishimoto agreed with this idea right away. Time skip. Dear God. I think I'd never seen anyone eat as much as you before, said Naruto, as he saw Kishimoto putting away the rice like they were nothing. Kishimoto chuckled as he wiped away some of the rice sticked on his face. I know, I'm sorry, he said. Everyone is always wondering where I put it all. As Naruto wondered, was this what people saw when he was eating ramen? Maybe he should slow down his eating of food. Right, Naruto said. So why don't you tell me a bit about this cursed warrior that has been appearing in your village? Kishimoto swallowed his 10 serving of rice. As Naruto wondered if he was this bad, then he would start to eat with better table manners. Some people think that he's a disembodied spirit of Sajai father, Owashi-sama. As Naruto shivered for a bit, he was really going to face a ghost. He will just have to see for himself. Why don't you tell me more about your village, Naruto asked. Alright, he said. It's called Torinokuni because our capital is built on a lake, which the birds come to migrate. It's always been a beautiful and peaceful place. The first sign of trouble came from the death of our previous daimyo, Owashi-sama. As to who will take over the leadership, it was between his son, Sajai-sama, and his most trusted advisor, Kame-sama. Naruto was confused because he thought, when it comes to daimyo, it always passed down in blood. So for an advisor to take over, well, maybe that is how they run things in their place, Naruto thought. Kame said that Sajai-sama was too young to get the role of daimyo, and there was men that agreed with him. Nevertheless, he got the role of daimyo because Mosu-sama, my master, the high priest, was going to act as a supervisor towards him and help him govern our country. Then, less than half a year later, Tokidano, Sajai's sister, died as suddenly as his father. Since that time, the Sajai that I knew has become a completely different person. He's retreated from view, sees no one, and governs from the confines of his palace. And it was about that time the White Warrior started to appear in the capital. Rumors started to spread about the previous daimyo's death, saying that it was not a natural one. People started to say that the White Warrior in fact was a spirit of Owashi-sama come back to wreak vengeance on the ones that had murdered him. As Naruto gulped, "You're such a baby, Naruto," said the Kyuubi. "I'm not a baby," Naruto said. I've never dealt with a real ghost before." The Kyuubi giggled. "It's alright to feel frightened. After all, you may be a big bad shinobi, but you're still a kid. If you want, you can come in the steel and I'll give you a sucker," Naruto-kun, she said. "Are you alright, Naruto-san?" asked Kishimoto. "Oh, I'm fine," said Naruto. "But I don't believe that this cursed warrior is a ghost." "What do you mean?" "Well, I believe that this is someone trying to spread chaos in your country." As Naruto refused to believe that a ghost was actually involved, though this could have been out of fear than actually believed in his own words. "You think so?" said Kishimoto. "Yes," said Naruto. "But who would do such a thing?" asked Kishimoto. "There was always greedy people out there who was willing to kill each other. to get what they want. Whoever has the most to gain from Owashi's death, Naruto said. From what you've told me, there are two people here that stand to gain the most. The High Priest, Moso, could have. My master is a good and virtuous man, said Kishimoto, interrupting Naruto with some anger laced in his voice. From the way he was talking, one would think that Naruto just had insulted his ancestors. He just couldn't be involved in something like this like Kishimoto. It was obvious, Naruto thought, Kishimoto was biased towards this Moso guy. But even if he didn't believe, Naruto had to look at everything twice. There was always a possibility that the man he served was simply lying to him to gain what he wanted. Then there's also Kami, said Naruto. It is quite possible that he assassinated Daimyo to gain power. But he got angry when that didn't work and his son took over. As Kishimoto believed that one, it's true, he's been complaining bitterly ever since our previous Daimyo's son has taken the throne. I wouldn't put it past him to manufacture the Cursed Warrior himself and started these rumors. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Naruto said, as he knew that you'll have to investigate first. Time skip. Instead of a month, they arrived in the capital in 2 weeks because Naruto was carrying Kishimoto piggyback style because he just couldn't bother with a civilian walking. As Naruto had to admit, the country was beautiful. As they were going towards Kishimoto's master's place, it was currently night time. A whistle sound then pierced the ear. What's that sound, said Naruto. As Naruto looked up to see up in the sky was a figure, dressed in white samurai armor. It floated through the air above him, hovering like a ghost. As a chill went down Naruto's spine, but his eyes became hardened. He wouldn't fail a mission just because of a stupid ghost. As it was dressed in his white armor, with his eyes burning with flames. That's the Cursed Warrior. Okay, Naruto said, this is where you get off. As Naruto set him down, Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. As two clones appear, as he made them escort Kishimoto towards his master's house. As Naruto jumped off before the man could say anything. As he landed on a roof, several feet away from the warrior. The thing started to float away as Naruto chased after it, as he had to jump off the roof into a forest area, as he came upon a single building. It was a burial site to the recent daimyo. Naruto's enhanced vision cut through the night as he scanned the area. He couldn't see anything, and his hearing couldn't pick up anything either, as he channeled yokai into his eyes as they turned purple with slits in them. But he still couldn't see nothing, not even a flicker of chakra anywhere. Kyuubi, can you sense anything? Naruto asked. She extended her senses outside his body. No, nothing, she said. That's odd. Could they be masking their presence? Naruto said. She scoffed. They may be able to hide your inferior senses, but no human can hide from me. As Naruto gulped, well, if it isn't chakra, then it's really a ghost? When did you become such a coward? Hey, I'm not a coward, Naruto said. I just don't like ghosts. Even if it's a ghost, you can still hurt it with ninjutsu, right? Remember, a ghost is nothing more than a spirit. Therefore, it is made up of spiritual energy. And chakra is partially made up of spiritual energy. And yokai is far more potent than chakra and has a spiritual energy to it. It doesn't matter if it's a ghost. You can kill it the same way. How can I kill something if it's already dead, Naruto asked. You know what I mean, stop being so... The Kyuubi words are cut off as the door in front of him opened, leading into the burial site. As Naruto stiffened, damn it, he just had to be dealing with a ghost, didn't he? As Naruto watches a warrior in white armor slowly step out of the doorway, it then flew past the pedestal and landed right in front of Naruto a few feet. Alright, Naruto said, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but if you think you're gonna scare me just because you're a creepy looking ass ghost, you're not. As the Kyuubi sweat dropped, is it just me or is Naruto letting his fear over a ghost reverting back to his original self? As the thing didn't respond, as Naruto thrust two kunais towards it, they impale it right in the chest, right in the armor piece, pushing the thing back a bit. But the thing then straightened up like nothing happened, with the two kunais sticking in his chest. As Naruto decided he was going to call out the big guns, as he unsealed his giant katana, as he rested the blade on his shoulder, as he took a wide stance. The thing took a single step forward, its armor clanking together. As Naruto burst off the ground, sailing towards the warrior, as he channeled yokai through the blade, as it became covered in a flame of yokai, an eternal purple look. As Naruto slashed right through the samurai, like hot knife going through a butter. Skidding through, Naruto stopped as he turned back to get the monster. Light exploded out of the thing, like something was trying to break through the shell. As the light started to fade away, the thing fell backwards, hitting the ground a thud. as Naruto slowly made his way over there, as he poked it with his blade, but nothing. He then reached down and threw off the helmet, but the thing was empty. As Naruto stepped back, it was really empty. It was a ghost. A real goddamn ghost. Damn that woman, Naruto thought, thinking about Bachan. She sent me on this mission to go and fight a damn ghost. Can you please shut up, the Kyuubi said. But Naruto was ranting about ghosts. As the Kyuubi shook her head as he completely changed the conversation. And when I get out of here, I'm gonna treat myself to several bowls of ramen. Maybe miso, chicken, shrimps, miso, or maybe miso, he thought. For the love of God, the Kyuubi said, what did I do to deserve this? As the Kyuubi heard laughing in his seal, as she just grunted. Time skip. I'm glad to see that you finally recovered from your idiocy. As it was the next morning as Naruto was in a room, with Kishimoto off to the side. Well, last night was just too weird. It's not like I'm afraid of ghosts or anything, he said. Of course not, she said in a sarcastic tone. Give me anything else like demons, zombies or something like that. But ghosts? Nah, said Naruto. Zombies? Said the Kyuubi. Just what make you include zombies in a list of things you wouldn't mind fighting? Have you even seen a zombie before, she asked. Well, all those zombie movies I watched with Uncle, I guess. And if ghosts can exist, surely that zombies can exist as well, right? I'm just saying I would take zombies over ghosts any day of the week. I see, said the Kyuubi, even though she was still confused. Obviously this is a ghost fiasco. Have Naruto losing his mind. Are you alright, Naruto-san? Asked Kishimoto with a concerned expression on his face. Because for the past 15 minutes, Naruto's been making strange faces at himself. And he was grunting. He even sometimes opened his mouth to say something, but he didn't close it right away. Naruto looked up. I'm asking if you're alright. Oh yeah, I'm fine, Naruto said. I was just thinking. About what? The man asked. As Naruto really couldn't tell the man what he was talking about. What would he say? He was just having a conversation with a 9-tailed demon fox who could turn into a hot woman. Oh, I was just thinking, why does he live in a place like this, Naruto said. I mean, he's the second most important person right here, right? Next to the daimyo. As the room was very basic and normal. Oh, I can see why you would be concerned about that, said Kishimoto. You see, wealth do not interest a man like Mosu-sama, so he lives freely. For a man of his wisdom. As Naruto expected him to say that, he seemed quite loyal to this Mosu character. So, where is this Mosu guy anyways? Right here's the voice. As the door slid open, there was a large man there. As the cloak that he was wearing hid his hands from view, as he was wearing a strange 2-piece cloth that covered the right side of his torso down to his leg, and upper left shoulder like some kind of half cape, and he was wearing a strap made up of green and purple over that, as he was bald as well, only with sideburns there. I am Mosu, the man introduced himself, and you must be the young Konoha ninja Konoha has sent to help us with the cursed warrior. I hear that you even confronted last night when it attacked Kami-sama. Yes, I did, said Naruto. Well, Mosu said. Did you manage to uncover anything such as the identity of the cursed warrior? Unfortunately not, Naruto said. The cursed warrior that I fought last night was nothing more than an empty suit of warrior. It's possible that who is behind it may be well versed in puppetry. If that's the case, then the ghost that you're dealing with is nothing more than a puppet dancing to someone's tune, which is the cause corruption and unrest amongst your people. Puppeteer, you say, Mosu murmured, sounding rather troubled. It's just a possibility, Naruto said. I have no proof if it's true or not, but it's a good theory. One that only needs me to find further evidence to back it up. Naruto, you know as well that the suit of armor you fought was not being controlled by any puppeteer. Even you should have sensed that there was no chakra strange attached to the armor. And even if you didn't, I would have, said the Kyuubi. Well, what am I supposed to say? You can't expect me to just tell him that. That there is a good possibility that he's actually dealing with that ghost. At least this way, I sound more, well, like I know what I'm doing. Rest assured, however, Naruto said, I will eventually get to the bottom of this. Your resolve is encouraging, Mosu said. We have just installed a new daimyo. This is no time for unrest. After the meeting was over, as Naruto and Kishimoto was sitting down at a shack, as Naruto was drinking a bird wing, well, it was one of the juice that was here in this village. One of the best actually, and it was quite nice. As Naruto was stumped on what to do, he needed more, people to talk to, and he had someone in mind. I want to see your daimyo. As Kishimoto looked at him, what? You can't. He no longer allowed people to see him. Even I, his best friend, is no longer allowed to see him. I don't care, Naruto said. I need to speak with him. He needed more information than he currently have. As Kishimoto, information was seriously biased, and Moso didn't really give him anything. I don't know, said Kishimoto. Listen, said Naruto. I need more information if I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I need to talk to your current daimyo. If I can learn something, even something as a basic theories or suspicions. As Kishimoto sighed. Alright, he said. As he really wanted this cursed warrior to be rid of already. Time skip, they were crouching down in grass as they waited for their target to appear. As there was a lake over there with a sandy shore, several small islands near the center. So tell me, why are we here again, Naruto asked Kishimoto? Because this is the place that he used to play with his sister when they were both younger. He will not meet with us inside the palace, so we will have to wait out here. As his eyes softened a bit, this place has very many fond memories for a lot of us. As they didn't have to wait for too long. As there was a large cart being carried by 2 ox on each side. As it was surrounded by several samurais. As Naruto focused on the man inside, he was a young man as he had dark hair with bangs framing his face coming down. He had black eyes and pale skin, and judging by his clothing, he was definitely royalty. He was wearing a dark purple kimono with brighter purple pine lining the edges. As the car came to a stop, as one of the samurai stepped forward, "Sir, we have arrived." "Thank you," the man said, before he turned his attention out to the lake. "Is it just me, or does something seem off about him?" Naruto asked. "What do you mean?" Kishimoto asked. "I don't know," said Naruto. "Something just doesn't feel right when I look at Sajai." As the daimyo took something out of his pocket, and he looked rather depressed looking down at it. "Then again, maybe I'm just a bit shocked seeing someone so young ruling a country." "I guess I can understand why you think that," said Kishimoto, as Sajai was now wiping his eyes with his sleeve. "The truth is, many don't think that he is ready to lead because of his age. There was a lot of unrest when he took up the seat after his father died." Thinking about it now, after what he just heard, Naruto thought that one of the higher-ups, probably jealousy, or perhaps because of his age, didn't think that he would be fit to rule the country, so they created this cursed warrior somehow. It was then that Naruto felt malice, anger. "Kyuubi," he said. "It's coming from beneath the water," she said. "But it's not directed at you. That means..." "Sajai," said Naruto. 3 shurikens came flying out of the water. As Naruto flicked his wrist, summoning his own shuriken into his hand, as he thrust them, knocking away the other shurikens. As all of the samurais brought out their blades. As Sajai looked shocked, as those who were guarding him as well. As Naruto threw his seal, scrolling up in the air as he jumped forward, wiping some of his blood on it. As he grabbed his giant blade, as he rushed forward, as 3 swords emerged from the water. As the water in front of him exploded, 3 of them. They were all wearing the same outfit, blue GI, with blue pants and steel-toe boots. As they were wearing a grey mask that had spikes on the top, making the 3 of them look identical. Each one of them was also carrying a short koriki, a sharp blade made for piercing attacks. As Naruto appeared in front of the first one, the burst of speed and sliced his giant blade down. The man was severed in half from his right shoulder to his left hip. As Naruto quickly turns attention onto his next foe. As Naruto swung his blade, but Ninja jumped away entirely. But he only dodged the blade, not the wind attack that came behind it that sliced right into his stomach. As the man collapsed down on the ground, trying to hold the bleeding in, as the blood started to just pour out like a river. The last one quickly dived straight back into the water. As Naruto was tempted to go after him, but his instincts were telling him to be cautious. Good thing too, because as the assassin disappeared, the water exploded, shooting up like a chasm. He used paper bombs in the water to cover his escape, Naruto said to himself. As he cursed, he was going to try to capture that last one for interrogation to get him closer to the cursed warrior. Know that opportunity was lost and he would need another way to solve this mystery. As Kishimoto had made his way over to Sajai and they were trying to calm down the ox. As Kishimoto then turned, "Sajai, Sama, are you okay?" "Yes," said Sajai. "I am unhurt." "I'm glad," said Kishimoto with a sigh of relief. As Naruto stepped forward, while I don't want to ruin your bonding moment, perhaps you can introduce me to your friend. Yes, said Kishimoto. Sajai-sama, this is Uzumaki Naruto. A shinobi that was sent here from Konoha to help us solve the mystery of the Crested Warrior. He shouldn't have bothered to come, Sajai said. As Naruto narrowed his eyes to the way the man spoke. Let me guess, this was Moso's idea. Yes, because he feared for your life, Sajai-sama, said Kishimoto. And with very good reason. If Naruto hadn't been here then, hold your tongue, said Sajai. As Kishimoto was shocked. He was shocked by the response, but he quickly bowed in apology. Forgive me, he said. Wow, you're an asshole, aren't you, said Naruto. As Sajai snapped his head towards Naruto. What was that, said Sajai. You heard me, said Naruto. This guy right here, he was so worried about you. He traveled all the way to Konoha. Do you know how far that is to walk for a civilian? And he paid for the mission out of his own pocket just to protect you. Naruto said Kishimoto. And yet, here you sit, Naruto said, ignoring Kishimoto, snapping at someone who think the world of you. You have to be one of the most selfish, self-centered, stuck-up bastard I've ever met in my life. With a friend like you, I'm not even sure Kishimoto need any enemies. Sajai gritted his teeth as he glared at Naruto, but the man simply calmed himself rather quickly, much to Naruto's surprise. His face then became blank, like nothing just happened. That friendship has been consigned to the past, he said, as his eyes closed. I have become a daimyo, the ruler of this country. That friendship has long ended. As Kishimoto closed his eyes, as Naruto's eyes were snapped in anger. I have reached the great heights. I can no longer be seen with him. Sounds like someone's gotten a big head, Naruto said. You're no leader. You're just a child with a chip on his shoulder. As Naruto turned and started to walk away. Proceed, said Sajai. Yes, Sajai-sama, said the guards. As Naruto went over to check out one of the corpses. As Kishimoto came over, Naruto-san, he said, please, find it in your heart to forgive Sajai-sama for his words. As Naruto raised an eyebrow in surprise. And why would I do that? He never used to act like this before. But then his father and sister died, one after another. It was then that his heart grew cold. I understand why he acts the way he does. Whether that's the case or not, Naruto said, it still doesn't give him the right to treat you like that. I know a lot of people who have suffered just like your friends, people who have lost loved ones and are forced to rely on themselves just now. Your friend is walking a dangerous path right now. I've seen people like him, people who have become indifferent by their loss. If he's not careful, he may wind up losing himself to darkness. As Naruto had seen that look in Sasuke's eyes plenty of time, the look of an avenger. Sajai isn't like that, said Kishimoto, defending his friend. I know that the kind-hearted Sajai that I once knew is still in there. He just needs time. Before Naruto could say anything, a glint catch him in his eye as he looked over to see one of the shurikens that one of the assassins had thrown. As he went over, his shuriken was different than this one. He's had 6 sides to it, while this one only had 3. The blades were diamond-shaped and he was attached to a circle in the center. As he realized if he connected the blades with a line, it would be the shape of a triangle. He has never seen something like this before. Have you found something? Asked Kishimoto. As Kishimoto came over and then gasped when he saw what Naruto was holding. Is this weapon familiar to you, Naruto asked. Yes, said Kishimoto. There are no ninjas in the land of birds, but some of the guardsmen are receiving special training. I see, said Naruto. And who command the guardsmen, Naruto asked. They are under the command of... Kishimoto's eyes widened. All of them answered towards Kami-sama. Kami, huh? Said Naruto to himself. Naruto, said the Kyuubi. I know, said Naruto. Looks like things are about to get a little more exciting, huh? I agree, said the Kyuubi. Well, Naruto said, looking at Kishimoto. Looks like I'm gonna be working late tonight. Time skip. Kami residence was much larger than Moso's. As Naruto found himself leaning beside one of the walls, it was nearing dawn as the sun started to lower on the horizon, casting a shadow. Do you really think this will work? The Kyuubi asked. Yes, Naruto said. As he had 24 clones, all of them transformed to look like objects, watching the building. All we need to do is wait. Patience is the key here, he said. Patience, the Kyuubi said with an amused tone. You wouldn't know patience if it hit you in the head with a frying pan. I'll have you know I'm very patient when I need to be, said Naruto. Well, you have become different since you became a genin, but I can't really picture you. and patience in the same sentence. Whatever, said Naruto. Don't be like that, I was just teasing, she said, that giggle. You know this whole plan that you hash. You are focusing on the thought that Kami knew who the Cursed Warrior is, or has a hunch or something. I am well aware of that, given that he encountered the Cursed Warrior before. I presume that you have a theory who it could be, and I'm willing that you'll follow up on it soon, hopefully tonight. Before he could say anything, a figure emerging from a back door caught his attention from the mansion. The figure was wearing a blue kimono, as he was wearing a dark hood with a facial mask that covered all but his eyes. You see that, said Naruto. Looks like I was right, there is no other reason for him to head off without his attendants, unless he's going to meet the Cursed Warrior, the Kyuubi Huff. Well, I guess even you can be right, at least once in your life. Or remember you said that, Naruto said, next time I write and shove it in your face. Whatever, she said, rolling her eyes. I suggest you follow him now before you lost sight of him. The man had lit a lantern once the place started to get dark out as he was walking, as Naruto was moving behind him and sneaking as best as he could. As the man reached his destination, as Naruto was crouching down a nearby tree. This is the same place we ran into the Cursed Warrior, as he looked at the shrine once more. Less than a second later, the door opened up, and the Cursed Warrior walked out. Its armor clanged with each step that it made, a haunted rhythm that could send shivers down anyone's spine. But Naruto wasn't freaking out because this was just someone pretending to be a ghost. There's no such things as ghosts. Kami then removed his hood and his face mask as the figure stopped moving. Kyuubi, Naruto said. Already on it, said the Kyuubi, as she pushed out her senses from the seal. This Cursed Warrior is definitely not the one you faced last night. This one has a person inside of it, which means there are either two of them, or the one last night was being controlled by someone from afar. But the last one wasn't very likely. Even if they were using chakra strings, and a mile away, I would have still sensed him, said the Kyuubi. I thought so too, said Naruto. Why? Why can't things ever be simple with me, he thought. What now, the Kyuubi asked. What else? I'm going down there to kick some ass, and to get some answers. As Naruto walked out into the clearing and whistled, who's there, said Starter Kami. This is quite the party you have here, Naruto said. A tactician and a Cursed Warrior. All we need now is a conspiracy, and we can bring this thing to an end. Kami took a step backwards. Excuse me? As Naruto watches the Cursed Warrior unsheath his blade, the figure then jumped as Naruto looked up, as it came down his blade to cleave off Naruto's head. But guys, will be any subscribe right here. If you want to make part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also stay tuned for the rest of the what is coming your way. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.